Hello, and welcome to the Sheila C Hill Show. And that C stands for come on in this room and have a sit down so we can chit chat for a little while. Now, the Sheila C Hill Show is the ultimate go to podcast for ambitious individuals who want to live a more fulfilling and successful life to get more valuable insights, expert tips, and inspiring stories to help you improve your lifestyle, grow your business, and enhance your emotional being. Now, in every episode, you're going to gain practical tips and insightful wisdom in the company of a supportive community of like minded individuals, whom I call Sheila's Thrive Tribe, because over here we thriving, okay? Now, in this, if you're new to the show, I just want to say welcome. And I'm your host, Sheila C Hill, and hello, hola, bonjour, como está, ni hao, howdy, and what's going up, my people? Listen, first of all, before we get started, please subscribe, follow, and share this podcast because what we're talking about today, others is going to want to hear it. Now, we just came out of July, and which was Mental Health Awareness now for minorities. So now what we're talking about is still we're on that subject of mental health because it includes so many different levels, and it includes emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It also affects how we think, feel, and act, and it helps determine how we handle stress, how we relate to others, and how we make choices. Now, racial and ethnic minorities often suffer from poor mental health outcomes due to many factors, which include lack of access to quality mental health care services, culture stigma surrounding mental health care, discrimination, and overall lack of awareness about mental health. So, our topic today, it can closely be related to mental health and mental illness. Our topic, we're talking about the mad Black woman syndrome or the angry Black woman syndrome. Okay, I know is not officially recognized medically or psychological term. Instead, it's a familiar expression used to describe the emotional and mental struggles experienced by some African American women due to the intersection of gender, race, and social expectations. Now, the angry Black woman stereotype has penetrated many parts of American culture, including in the workplace. Now, this pervasive stereotype not only characterized Black women as more hostile, aggressive, overbearing, illogical, ill tempered, and bitter, but it may also be holding them back from realizing their full potential in the workplace and shaping their work experiences overall. Now, today, our focus is and our aim is to challenge these misconceptions, and we're going to debunk some myths as well. And I want you to understand the impact it has on the lives of African American women. Joining us today is an exceptional panel of guests who are going to share their experiences and insights on this issue. So, at this time, we're going to welcome our special guests and we're going to invite them to the stage and they're going to introduce themselves. First, we have Stephanie. If you can introduce yourself, ma'am, welcome to the show.
Hey Sheila, thank you for having me. My name is Stephanie Harmon. I own S&S Carrying Transportation. I'm here in North Carolina, and I also provide business consulting for those entrepreneurs that's trying to start their transportation business.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the show again. And we have also Crystal Mims. You can introduce yourself to our guests, to our panel people.
Hello, my name is Crystal Mills. I am a travel entrepreneur nail professional for Crystal Mills, who is shaping individuals to become their own boss in the beauty industry. Thanks for having me on your show today, Miss Sheila.
You're welcome. Thanks for being here. I'm excited because, listen, I know you all have some insight. Woo! All right, let's get started. Let's get started. Okay, so tell me some of your experiences that you've had with this. Have anyone ever called you an angry or a mad Black woman or insinuated it? If so, how did you handle that?
Now I just handle it by letting them know that it's a boundary and you have to respect me in order to give respect. I stand up for myself. I don't settle for what's handed to me, or you don't look at me as the old person. No, I have a right to stand up for myself. I know my worth. I know who I am. I know what I stand for. It's either respect the boundaries or don't have the relationship with me because I don't have to put up with it. And settling for less is not what I'm gonna do. I've come too far. I've changed my mindset. I've changed my surroundings, and I'm taking a stand. I'm not who I used to be. So accept it or get lost.
I like that.
Okay, I heard that. It's an attitude. I love it.
Listen.
All right, Stephanie, what you got to say?
So I would say most of the time it came across as they're not saying like you seem angry. It more so was like, well, I can't approach you, or other people coming to me saying, well, people are telling me and they said, they didn't like what you said. It was how you said it, or they have a fear of how they can approach you, or how can they make it, I guess come across a little softer. And so at first I used to be like, well, dang, man, maybe it's my facial expression, because I do have like the standing itch face. But after a while, I was like, who is they? Who are they that's saying this? And is it just your interpretation? And so then I just realized, like, I'm not going to receive that energy. Like, that is your perception. There's nothing I could do about that. And I just kind of go with it. If you think I'm angry, then okay. If you think I'm mad, okay. I mean, who am I to who am I to say, try to convince you that I'm not, because I don't really care.
Exactly.
Mm,
Period.
I don't really care.
that's
Now
right.
before, you probably did, but once you kind of realize that people are trying to put that monkey on your back, you like, I'm not receiving that, and you can take that back.
Yeah, I think kind of like
Most definitely. It's like,
when we grow into another person and they're not used to that level that we've overcame and grown into, it intimidates people of
Right.
how they think we should respond. Like our mind is different, we're set different, we've learned different, and we've been through a lot of life lessons that have taught us something. So what we're not gonna tolerate and the things that we can change now, we're changing. And a lot of people can't understand and accept that part of us.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Like, even becoming, or I don't even say becoming or get into that healed version of yourself. It's more so like, I recognize that what you're trying to say about me, or what you're trying to do, is not working. And as soon as, like Krista said, as soon as you stand up for yourself and say, well, I hear what you're saying, but bye, like, I'm not trying to hear it, then that's when people automatically say, okay, well, let me take it to another level, instead of just, dismissing it. So I'm at the point where I don't really care.
I don't either. Like either you're with me on this journey or you're not. Like
Yeah.
we have to unlearn behaviors to learn new behaviors, and sometimes people still want to settle for what someone's handing to them. I know I deserve more, and we deserve much more respect, and we've grown up and we've overcome the battles that we never thought that we can overcome. So some stuff is just not being tolerated anymore.
Yeah.
It's almost 2024. That stuff is out the window now.
Yeah, we ain't got time for that. Like
No.
that lady
we
said,
ain't
we
got
ain't
time
got
for
time.
that.
We ain't got time for that. We ain't got time for that.
Period.
Exactly. Now, the term highlights the pressure of the angry Black woman syndrome. So, that term highlights the pressure on Black women to uphold a strong, resilient, and emotionalist persona,
Hmm.
often at the expense of their mental and emotional well being. Now, this pressure originates from historical and systematic racism, which has led to the stereotypes and unfair expectations on Black women to be strong in the face of
Hmm.
adversity while suppressing their vulnerability and emotions. So, have you experienced that in the workplace or in your family or just throughout life that you feel like you have to be strong all the time, and then when you're not, you're perceived as weak? So someone talk about that.
Child, listen. I know I can say for me coming from a law enforcement background for 15 years, like people um I don't know, it's just that male ego because most of the people I worked with were men. So I dealt with racism and sexism. And so even like we were saying earlier, like people never came out and said it, but people I would say my male counterparts, I won't even say people, my male counterparts would almost try to back me into a corner and it made me feel like it was me. And
Mhm.
so I had a therapist, and even as I moved up the ranks, it just got worse to where men they reported to me and they were adamant that they wasn't going to listen to what I said. And so I complained, HR, and I ended up taking FMLA leave. In fact, that now that we're talking about, I probably need to go back and get me a lawyer or something because I ended up taking a leave of absence for the entire time for my FMLA. And when my therapist, talking to my therapist and my physician, and they were like, your FMLA is up, and I was like, I was getting bad anxiety, even
Mm.
talking about going back. And I was like, you know what? I ain't going back. And I didn't give a 2 week notice. I typed up this letter, emailed it to him that morning, took my uniforms, my gun, my all of my cell phone and everything, and I locked it in my office and I never went back.
Oh
And
my.
so I that's probably the best thing I did. But definitely, even when I told my chief and assistant chief that I was not in a good headspace because I had life going on, plus, you have all these other people, trying to tear you down.
Mhm.
It was rough, and I was like, I can't go back. Like I was having a whole episode trying, they talking about I had to go back, and I was
Yes.
like, this ain't happening. I ain't going back. And so that's when I was already in business, but I really just became a full time entrepreneur at that point. I took
Wow. I mean, that's awesome that you had the strength to do it, to put your mental health at
right.
front and put yourself number one. Um,
Mm.
wow, that kudos to you. That's great to hear. Now, do you feel that the male counterparts did not respect you in your superior position because you was female, a woman, or because you were African American?
It was both because I had an old white man that had in his mind had more experience than me in law
Okay.
enforcement. So he retired from another police department. So he came in with the mindset that he was better than me. Like, he
Mhm.
knew more than me. He was my superior. And that was just that white man. That's that whole, you white, you older, you think you know more than me, you think you're better than me. But what was surprising was it was the black men that I had the issue with the sexism. So I caught it from both
Mm.
angles. Racism because I was black and because I was a woman. So imagine being the only person at the table in leadership meetings, and you're the only one of color, and the only one that's a woman, which was
Woo!
crazy.
Oh my goodness. And how many years did you work as a police officer?
Um, I was there
Woo, that's
overall
a lot.
for 15. I think half of it was in leadership positions. So I mean I had my chiefs, black women. I had people to tell me like, it's your attitude. And I'm like, I don't have no damn attitude. I'm having an attitude because you're telling me I got an attitude, but I don't have an attitude. And I think it's just the idea that as black women, like we're supposed to behave a certain way. You're supposed to look a certain way, and so when you don't
Right.
fit that mold into that mold that people want you to, they do all kind
Yeah.
of crazy stuff. I'm sorry, I had
But
some
now, do you think?
flashbacks.
I see.
Really,
That memory took you far back.
Listen, that took me back, and it just reminds you, like Tabitha say, like you never really fully heal. It's certain things that can trigger, and this conversation is not a bad trigger, but
Yeah.
it takes me back and reminds me, and I'm so thankful to God that I'm able to have this conversation with y'all about this and
Yes. I'm
not want
happy
to
that
go
you.
off on somebody.
period.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So my question now, all right, because we have this, um, the media, sometimes, do you all feel that the media source sometimes depicts Black women as either angry all the time who needs therapy, and when we say angry, and we're not saying that Black women don't need therapy. Yes, we have some sisters that really need therapy. But overall, do you feel like the media has a lot of responsibility, and if so, how?
Mhm.
You can go, Crystal. Look, I done did a lot
Crystal,
of talking, Crystal.
how do you feel like that TV shows and the media?
Mm.
So I feel like they don't want us to lead and take a stand, and it's intimidating that a lot of women are stepping up and really leading now, and we're not depending on a man to take hold and lead us. Like we are really going to get it. We're really making things happen, and we are really finding solutions that they feel like it should be a man's job. But if we can't be, feel confident or confide in a man enough or in that comfort zone to have them to lead us, I think that they are really getting offended and not understanding like it's not just a man job to lead. Some women are going to take the crown themselves. Like, yes, we don't want to just be the rich man's wife. We want to be the rich wife, you know?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
we're taking now.
Mm.
And I think they're finding it hard to accept, but I mean,
Listen, we here. We ain't going nowhere. We
period.
So do you think they're finding it hard to accept? Now, wait a minute. Now, some women might want to be the rich man's wife. Let's get that straight.
Do,
They
but we
might
don't
need a
want to
sugar
just be
daddy.
known. We don't just known that we're only rich because of our husband. No, we're taking a stand too. Like we both can get the bag. I'm not saying that, but that's just not the title that we're just accepting because that's what they're think that we're supposed to do.
Yeah, I think media has a lot to do with that. Like even reality TV. Like I hate to watch reality TV where all you see is women bickering and fighting
Yeah.
and
Yes.
going off on each other. It adds or perpetuates to the whole thing where we can't get along, we can't grow together, we can't do stuff together. And I know that most of it may be staged, but I feel like people, when you put dollar signs on certain things, people sell their soul and do it. And so I think reality TV has added so much to that when it comes to angry Black woman or feeling like, people can talk to you any kind of way.
Yeah.
and then you fly off the handle when somebody talks to you a certain way versus, you being able to have conversations with people as adults that you read they saying, but overall, just sit down and talk about it. Like when you watch some of these reality shows, it's grown women that's fighting over nothing, like
Yeah.
nothing. And I'm
Over
like,
nothing.
what's
Exactly.
happening?
Yeah.
What's happening to us? Like, why can't it's crazy? I don't know, Sheila or Krista, if y'all see a female and she bad, like she look good, her clothes fit good, she got a nice body, and I can be like, Mom, you killing it today. And some of them be like, oh, thank you. Majority of them, they'll look at you like you crazy. And I'm like, boo, I'm just saying you look good.
Yeah.
I'm just giving you a compliment. Be able to receive that compliment. Or even when somebody says you look good, don't be like, oh, girl, this old lace front. Or this, just say thank you. Just
People
say
don't
thank you.
Yes.
getting
Just say
Yes.
thank you. Yeah,
That's true.
it's
Just say thank you. But a lot of times we're not conditioned that way. African American women, they're always on the defensive
yeah.
because it's hard to accept the compliments because they're
Mm-hmm.
always guarding themselves because of the things that they've done in the past. Now, we're going to talk about microaggressions as well, but we're going to take a commercial break and we'll be back and we'll talk about how microaggressions work, what are microaggressions, and yeah, do we have any allies out there? And we'll talk about that as well. But at this time, we have a commercial break for
Are
you.
you feeling
And we'll be
overwhelmed
right
with projects
back
to build
after
your
this.
business? Search no more. Introducing Borrow My VA, a virtual assistant service, your one-stop solution to bid farewell to stress and manage multiple tasks with very little effort. We specialize in website building, funnel creation, automations, and email marketing all under one roof. And here's the best part. We provide all these incredible services at budget-friendly rates. Discover a hassle-free way to handle your projects. No more worries about onboarding or finding that perfect virtual assistant. Our team is all set to tackle your task with efficiency. Now, once you delegate the task, consider it done. Say goodbye to overwhelm. Don't miss this fantastic opportunity to elevate your business. Join our list of satisfied customers and book a free consultation today at borrowmyva.com. That's borrowmyva.com.
To borrowmyva.com for sponsoring this episode. The Angry Black Woman Syndrome Part 2. So if you have not listened to Part 1, well, we have another set guest of ladies that speak of their experiences. Please go back and check out that episode. But just a little recap of what we're talking about today. Overall, of how does the media depict African American women? What's the experiences in the workforce? And Stephanie mentioned that sometimes you get a double whammy. Y'all remember that show back in the day, the whammy show? You get a double whammy because in a higher position, you're not just a woman, but then you're a minority. So then you have those two things working against you. So the question is, what do we do, and how do you become resilient over that? And how do you overcome these microaggressions that we experience on a regular basis? And and that's one thing that I want to say, that this show is not just about, just your hot topics, but it's also about giving you solutions to your everyday situations. And we're going to welcome our guests back to the stage. Now, when we talk about microaggressions, which just to give a definition, African American women may encounter microaggressions, which are subtle but harmful comments or actions based on stereotypes. For example, you might be assumed more aggressive or less competent than your colleagues solely based on your race or your gender. So when you're dealing with these microaggressions, it's very important to understand who you are. But what are you all's experience? So how do you all deal with micro expressions, especially when there's a group of people that may say something sort of, we call it slick mouth. We call it slick, but they're actually saying something either against your race or your gender and just being, under the table, sneaky. What do y'all say to that?
Mm. Child, listen.
Or how do you handle it?
I recognize the slick mouth, and my mouth can be slick too on the low. I feel like if you put me in that situation, whether I'm at work, well, in my old job, my 9 to 5, or if it's a person that I know, family member, you know how they'd be like, okay, I see you. And then behind your back, as soon as you turn, they like, girl, she thinks she all that. And I am.
Mm,
I am all
come on.
that. It don't have nothing to do with like the way I look or nothing like that. I'm just confident. I'm telling you, I am all that. So if I'm all that, then I am. But I'm not gonna
Period.
argue with somebody that, may, try to do slick comments. And I'm agree with you. If you think I'm all that, I am. I promise you I am.
I don't give a damn. I'm gonna tell you, I'm sorry I have to cuss a little bit, but my family,
This is a PG show, ma'am.
you know what? People, they see this lifestyle and stuff that I'm living in, and everybody depends on me for every doggone thing. And I'm in a season that I'm being so selfish right now, and I'm finally putting myself first instead of putting myself last because I'm breaking this curse off of my family, and it's a lot of work. And yes, I'm living this lifestyle, but they don't realize what it took to get here, what I went through to get here. I went through so much, like from failed marriage. I went through my narcissist relationship. I went through things as a childhood, like for being abandoned, not knowing what it was like to have a brother and sister. Like I went through so much. I went to even attempting. I was gonna drive off the highway last year after my bad breakup. Like I went through so much, and then everybody just looks at me for help. But now that I am like setting boundaries and standing up for myself, like I really don't give a damn what nobody thinks. I'm doing this for me and my kids, and I'm building an impact. And I know I'm not the only one who's been through these type of things, and people want to know what I did to overcome it. Like I clear my plate. I'm operating off a full plate that I can be able to pour and to help young women, even men, to overcome some of these things that they face and been through. But just standing up for yourself, and I'm at the point, if you think I'm better, I'm better. It doesn't matter. And yes, I have a serious approach, but when you get to know me, I'm really nice and loyal until you do something to overstep and disrespect me and want me to be lower than what you think I should be, or because I worked my way to this position.
Mm-hmm.
This fancy life is
Come on.
not thrown into my lap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hard to get here. I'm living better
Okay,
than
now
what?
you both sound so confident. You all are very confident. And I know you're basing what you've been through and your struggles, and you made like stepping stones, but I
Right.
know there may be a point where you had to get there. You was not there. What do you okay,
Oh,
now
yeah.
2 points I want to make though.
You're right.
Sometimes confidence equals for African American women, it equals to being cocky or aggressive.
It does.
So, because that's a stereotype, when you're confident, you're saying, "Oh, I know who I am." Then it's just like, "Oh my God, she's so confident, she's so stucky, she's so this and that." But how do you deal with that thin line
Yeah.
of showing I'm confident, but I'm still approachable and I'm not
Right.
cocky?
But I think I can only say for me, the person that I am today, I wasn't always that person. So even
Okay.
with therapy or finding my tribe of people or being able to just be vocal about how I feel versus keeping it inside. And so most women that I know, I mean, even growing up, like you just kind of, you were taught to just suck it up. Like, just suck it up and always be strong. And so now, as a full grown person, I hate when people say strong black woman. Like, what does that mean? That mean that you can just walk all over me and I'm just gonna let you do it. But I feel like it takes time, and most of us are stuck with doing the work. And so when I come across people that want the old version of me, I walk away from it. I no longer entertain family, friends, relationships, people that want to see the old version of me, or that benefited from when I was that person that was broken. I no longer entertain that space. So it took a while to get to that point, but now that I'm here, I feel like it's okay to have that confidence. And if you feel like my confidence bothers you, then that's still your issue. And that means that there's probably something that you have going on internally with yourself that you need to go sit on somebody's couch about. That's the best
Come
way I
on,
can
say
say
that. Sit on the couch.
it. Go sit on somebody's couch.
Yes.
Period.
Sit on the couch,
Yeah,
sis.
go sit on their couch.
Yes. I love that. Now, when facing with difficult situations, what is your help? So for someone who's not there, who's not as confident as you all are going through the struggle,
Right.
what tell me, give me some steps. What are some coping mechanisms that can help you manage and navigate through these intense emotions?
I
Mm.
would say you need a relationship with God. I pray to clear my plate. I stopped applying bandages. It's okay to cry. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay. We're all human. We go through things, but we can overcome it. And I learned that I'm not in this alone. It's just a lot, like, and sometimes just showing up just as you are and letting people know, like, my life isn't perfect. I haven't always been here, but just fully get who you can confide in. Like me, I left my small hometown and I moved to Atlanta by myself, no immediate family here. Yes, I do have some relatives here, but I made the step. I changed my mindset. I changed who I was around. I removed the negative that affected me or triggered me or brought me back to where I've overcome. So that's another thing. Like, get around people who want to see you win, want to see you better, push you to full potential. Sometimes it's okay. People come for a season, a lesson, and it's okay to let them go. It might hurt, it might feel lonely, but the right people will come. Like, if they're bringing unbalance into your life, if they're not making you feel good about yourself, or they're always finding something wrong with you, but then when it comes to them, they don't want to be judged, they're not the right ones for your circle. Like,
Mhm.
sometimes you just have to walk alone in this time until the right ones come, and just know that it gets greater later. Like, I never imagined that how my life have changed tremendously and getting my mindset together. When I first got here, I was a hot mess going through this. I cried so much. I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. But guess what? I'm doing it. It's almost 9 months and I'm standing tall, and each and every day gets better for me. So I'm really grateful for that. That's a way to overcome some things. Like,
For real. It's
That's
I was gonna say,
great.
man, listen,
Congratulations to you being
that's
resilient.
good.
But I like the fact, one moment, I like the fact that she said that she cried and she was
Yeah.
going through. But that's what a lot of times the stereotype is. So that sort of debunked the myth that,
Right.
Black women don't cry. We don't have emotions. So,
Girl, I
all
cry
right, go
all
ahead,
the
Stephanie.
time.
What was you saying?
I about to say I cry all the time. But I feel like it's that I don't know, for me, I fell off with my connection and my relationship with God. And I know that's all most of Black people, that's how we grew up in church. But I lost that. I lost my way when I started working on my relationship with God and having those intimate conversations with Him, being transparent with Him, even though He probably, even though that He knows all, but being completely transparent with Him and myself, like that is what helped me to grow into the person that I am today. Yeah, I definitely cried a lot, but I also asked God to, you know, guide me. I was like, listen, if people are not here for me, like, let me see it. And Lord, when I asked that, man, the cutoff game, the amount of people that I had to cut off out my life, and all I could say is that's what I asked for. I was like, show me, God, just show me the people are not genuinely here for me. The people that's talking about me behind my back, the people that's here to use me, the people that don't mean me good, like reveal those people to me. When that was revealed and I removed people that was not supposed to even be in my life. When I did that and I took time just with Stephanie, I think for like a year, all I did was, it probably was closer to 2 years. I didn't date nobody after my divorce. I didn't really go out a whole lot. Like I just really worked on that one-on-one relationship with God and myself. Once I did that, that's why when people say stuff like you ain't my friend, I don't care. Because I just don't want to receive. I don't want to receive that, and everybody doesn't have to like me. Everybody, you ain't gotta like me. I don't. But it took a minute to get to that, and I'm 51. Like, it took me a minute to be okay with not being invited to stuff all the time, with not being in the quote unquote popular group or popular circle like that, because it messes with your ego. If you feel like people not inviting you, sometimes that can mess with your ego. Like what's wrong with me? But when you okay with being by yourself and going to the movies by yourself, going on solo dates, getting on a plane and going somewhere by yourself, when you have gotten to that point, listen,
you're dangerous.
That's the best you can say is I'm dangerous.
That's right.
Because I don't have to have you. Like I want people in my life. If I want to date, it's because I want to date.
But don't need it.
Because I need it. Like I feel like people feel like they need a certain, you know what I'm saying? They need friends. They need a significant other. And I don't necessarily need it. Now, do I want to, you want to be with somebody? I feel like everybody wants to find that person, but I ain't really pressed. Like I'm okay. That's all right. When it happens, it happens.
Hey,
men will be at this point. Like,
listen,
when it happens,
that could be a whole nother episode right there.
Right.
Because it's kind of hard out here, Sheila. It's hard out in these single streets. You know what I mean?
That's why they got this, bro. That's a bad thing for you. That's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, that's a whole. It's rough.
I am serious.
Listen, Crystal, this is PG, ma'am.
Yeah, it's rough out here, but I feel like, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to the time, I say, God, listen, just let me know. When this person is it, he'll let me know.
Come on.
Don't send no foolery my way, because I'm gonna eat them up and spit them out. Like
none.
Yeah.
No, listen, then they'll be like, oh, she an angry black woman.
Yeah.
What?
And like,
they come
I
up
got
their
a reason to be
foolishness
mad.
oh, you're an angry black woman.
Yeah. And I'm like,
Nobody.
Yeah, I ain't got time for that. I ain't got time for that.
They always say I act like I'm
okay, guys, thank you very much. Thank you guys very much for your experience today, sharing your experiences, insights, tips, and practical tips, and that your average person that can go and follow your steps. I really appreciate it, because you just never know where someone is in their life, and they don't even have to be African American women. They can be a minority who goes through the same things that we go through as well. Um, so as we're ending up, please let us know how people can contact you, your social media handles, because I'm sure they're going to want to follow you. Crystal, what is your social media handles? And your
Crystal.
ending remarks as well.
Okay. It is Crystal Mims on Facebook. On Instagram, it is underscore Crystal Nails. And I appreciate you having me on this show. It was greatly appreciated. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the Sheila C Hill Show if you haven't tapped in. And just know that you guys are not alone. And it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to stand up for yourself, speak up for yourself, and don't settle for less. Because you are that girl.
Yeah, I love it. Yes, sis. Yes. Okay, Stephanie.
Sheila, man, this was good. This is a good conversation. I appreciate you including me in the conversation and letting me share my information, my story, and even what helped me to be the person I am today. I'm still a work in progress.
Yes.
Lord knows. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people take me back to that old Stephanie and she come out. But I've learned how, over time and get older, you just learn that, what I'm saying, always show up as your best version. So that angry black woman syndrome, only way that it can be tossed out is that we as women, as black women, come together, and it's always collaboration over competition. If you to reach me, I'm Stephanie R. Harmon on social media, IG and Facebook. And again, I just appreciate you having me on.
You're welcome. Thank you, ladies, for coming on. We really appreciate you and your insight and your expert at what you are. And if you have not subscribed to the Sheila C Hill Show, please do so and share with a friend. You can even share with the enemy. It don't even matter. Just share it, okay? Because it's going to help somebody. So at the end of the day, we appreciate you being here. But if no one's told you that you are loved today, I am telling you that you are loved and highly appreciated. You be the best that you can be, unapologetically yourself. Do not dim your light in no circumstance. Don't even put a lampshade on, baby, because if they cannot be around you with your light, they need to just leave, okay? Because you are the light, and I want you to share your light wherever you go. In the meantime, we will love for you to subscribe. Whatever you do, don't allow society to put a stereotype on you. Don't allow you to fit into that box. Just kick that box wide open and just be yourself. At the end of the day, we got you. Love, peace, happiness, and let's go. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's go. Until next time on the Sheila C Hill Show. Ooh, I need to get me a song. All right.